Hey folks, I am back. So I want to state the obvious. So when I came home from that overseas trip that I had to do on December, when I came back, I was just completely tired mentally. I couldn't even play games, and when I did go to work, I was basically done at the end of the day. Just rested a lot, and I think this went on for like I don't know a week or two. And I think this week I am slowly going back to normal. I mean, I really didn't have any energy to do anything. Heck, not even playing Marvel Rivals, as you can see in the background. One of the few games I actually care about playing, even if I don't always win. So I just did the most sensible thing, just taking it easy. If when my body was telling me to rest, I rested. Sometimes you have to make the distinction that sometimes the best course of action is just rest, not because of laziness, but sometimes you have to listen to what your body is telling you. Sometimes just rest, even if it means laying down in your bed or just sitting down somewhere and not thinking about things too much. Sometimes that's something you gotta do, and it's something that's eventually gonna happen. I mean, I'm not saying anything new here, but it's something that will inevitably happen to any of us. It did happen to me, and I was kind of surprised, but I dealt with it just like any other person would. So, as for the games themselves, there's really not many games that really stick out, other than Marvel Rivals, which you can clearly see that I put in this many hours into it. The only other games that really stick out in my memory is Final Fantasy 14 Online. For the first time in 3 or so years, I'm actually playing the game on top of everybody else, like the latest main scenario quests, the latest normal raids, the latest alliance raids. I haven't done any of the deep dungeons or any of the end game content or savage raids or savage trials yet, but it's not something that I'm too crazy about because I know you got to put in time for those. But at least it's optional, and maybe at some point I will get into those. So that's something that I've yet to see for myself. And other than those two games, the only other games that really stick out that I've played this year was Stellar Blade. I think Baldur's Gate 3 was last year, but the games that really stick out to me the most from my memory is Stellar Blade and Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 was obviously the better of the two. Baldur's Gate 3 story from start to finish, even if I was doing save scumming because it's a D&D type game, at least I enjoyed the story, the characters, and the storytelling the game that had to offer. I didn't even explore the evil portion of the game if you decide to do evil choices, but at least I'm glad that there is an option for those that want to do that. So even if it was D&D, which I'm not really experienced of or I'm a fond of, but I do appreciate storytelling along with its characters. It's just another classic example where just because something looks good, it doesn't always mean you're gonna remember the experience later. Just like the Avatar 3 movie, Avatar Fire and Ashes. I personally don't recommend that movie to anybody. Half of the movie could have been cut and you don't miss anything. And even if the half of the movie was cut, there's really hardly any story to talk about. James Cameron really did drop the ball. I think James Cameron's best movies was back in the 80s and 90s. Everything after that, nothing really sticks out. Video games are sort of like movies in a way. You can make the best looking visuals all you want, in my opinion, but if there's no story or no characters that compel me to care about, well, it is forgettable. I know I'm going in a bit of a long speech here, but it's near the end of the year and it's Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. I should have said that earlier, but Merry Christmas. And it's almost at the end of the year, and that's something that I've been reflecting. As you can see, there's a lot of other games that I have on Steam that I have not had the chance to play yet. Honestly, I should have tried some of those sooner, as soon as I was very fortunate enough to gotten those games gifted to me. Most of them were from 90998 and a couple of, and a handful of other people that have been with me here for years, which I'm very fortunate. But I'm taking it care. I'm just going through this very carefully because I cannot have my hands on everything. I mean, you play certain games or do certain things when you are in the mood. I mean, obviously, you got to push yourself to do them, sort of like exercise in a way, which I'm trying to get better at. It's it's basically similar in a way where where you do it when you're in the mood, and that can be very tricky to do and balancing it at the same time because you don't want to burn out and or you get exhausted. So the balance can be very tricky to achieve. So I'm just trying my best to go through it and hopefully I'll get better at that slowly over time, especially with all the in real life stuff I got to do along with working a full-time job, which I'm fortunate. So that's about the size of it. And going back to the Marvel Rivals game, I'm very fortunate enough to have reached Grandmaster 3 at least twice in that game. The third time was close, but unfortunately, I was not given that opportunity or could not achieve it. But I have achieved everything I wanted, or at least pretty happy with how my journey with this game has been. Obviously, there's going to be more content coming out, which I'm looking forward to. I hope they don't drop the ball with this game because there's really, in my personal opinion, there's not many other PvP games out there that interest me. I mean, Final Fantasy 14 does have PvP, but it's not my main focus. But at least it's an option in that game. And yeah, there's really not many other games out there that really stick out. And even the newer releases, like the new Call of Duty game and the new Battlefield game, I usually follow word of mouth and watching videos on those games, and I don't think I'm missing much. I think some companies and some games, not all, but some of them have kind of forgotten how to make good games, and some just gotten lazy. And especially when some games are really really expensive and not cheap, you got to be very careful with your wallets. So I'm just glad to still be here after all these years, and I'm glad that there have been some games that have stood the test of time. And just want to briefly mention that I still have fond memories of the Mass Effect series, specifically in Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, if the ending for Mass Effect 3 wasn't so disappointing, even after all the patching. But the world building in Mass Effect, even back when Bioware was at its peak before they fizzled out, it's still something I still have fond memories of. You know, good storytelling. Sure, it's flawed if you really criticize it, but at least there were good moments in that game, more so than some games nowadays. So I I think this sounds like I'm rambling, but those are my honest thoughts without having a script in front of me. So anyway, thank you all so much for listening and still being here after all these years. For those of you that are watching this, still got the merch store going, by the way, and for anybody that wants to buy stuff and support this little show and community of ours. I'm actually fortunate enough to have met people over the years that are still here, even even if they don't talk all the time, because we all have lives. So thank you so much, and let's keep it going, and let's do what we can.